At the bottom of the ocean floor, I have a feeling that there's so much more. Is this life or thoughts revolving? Somewhere out there deep in outer space, could there be another human face? Is there life or thoughts evolving? Who's to say what we cannot see? Am I you? Are you really me? Are we believing or just perceiving?
Hello there and welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Weave Your Web Revived. I am your host, Tor James Faulkner, and I hope that you've had a lovely time since we last spoke, and I hope that you will continue to have a lovely time. How are you doing? How are you doing since Season 1 ended? Great, I hope. Perhaps you have stumbled upon this randomly and you've got no idea who I am. You've got no idea what this show is. Weave Your Web was originally around in 2017 into 2018. It was a show designed to help people to weave their own web. In terms of manifestation, law of attraction, and the show also touched on psychic readings, interviewing celebrity psychics, etc. and so on. The world kind of changed, as we all know, and it just didn't feel right to bring the show back until towards the end of last year. After being asked and asked and asked, are you bringing it back? Are you bringing it back? The timing finally felt right, and Season 1 was a collection of highlights from the first go around, a few surprises that were not necessarily Weave Your Web related, as well as a collection of new episodes. It was an absolute blast to put it together. It's an absolute privilege to have Weave Your Web back. And a lot of Season 1 was focused around psychic scams, warning people so that they don't get scammed by fake psychics online, on the psychic platforms, on social media. And we had stories come in talking about that. We also looked at psychic news. But for Season 2, we're going to be stepping a little bit more into the paranormal side of things, a little bit more into the spooky side of things. Now, if you would like to listen to the previous episodes, or if you would like to get in touch with the show, you can do that via www.torjamesfaulkner.com. That's www.torjamesfaulkner.com. On there, you will see the podcast page. The previous episodes are archived. New episodes will also be archived there. And the website also has a contact form. Just make sure that you put Weave Your Web either in the subject or somewhere in the body of text so that I know that it's specifically for the show, so that I know that you don't mind it being shared on the show. A staple of Weave Your Web has been free readings, free mini readings. So you can pop your question in there if you'd like a free mini reading on the show. But also for Season 2, as I say, we're going to be sidestepping a little bit more into the paranormal and a little bit more into the spooky side of things. So perhaps you've got a little ghost story that you want to share, a paranormal experience that has happened to you, a glitch in the Matrix, maybe something UFO related that you've witnessed. Send it on into the show. I would love to hear it. Or, like I say, if you just want to get a free psychic reading on the show, send that in too. And as well as the free psychic reading questions from the audience, I will be doing a little general oracle card reading too, and that will be coming up later in the show. And if you are listening to the show on the Spotify app, you can listen to the show in various places, but if you're listening on the Spotify app, you should be able to see little interactive boxes. So you should be able to put your questions and your stories directly there, so you don't have to even go anywhere else. And you should be able to send in voice messages. I would love to hear your beautiful voices. And then those can be played out on the show. You can tell your story that way, completely in your own words. So that's a little recap of season 1 and a little foreshadow of season 2. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all your support for season 1, and let's get started with season 2. So for this first episode, we're going to be touching a little bit on the Mandela Effect. And a brief explanation of the Mandela Effect is, the Mandela Effect refers to a situation which a large mass of people believes that an event occurred when it did not. The term was originated in 2019 by Fiona Broome, I believe you say her name Broome, after she discovered that she, along with a number of others, believed that Nelson Mandela had died in the 1980s when he actually died in 2013. I didn't realise that this had been going on that long. I've been doing research into the Mandela Effect for about 6 years now. I find it absolutely fascinating. I find people's experiences with this absolutely fascinating. Now, I would like to say that I'm not necessarily on one side of this or the other. A lot of the examples don't necessarily resonate with me. A lot of them seem very, very specific to people who were around in a very specific time period. You know, things are a little bit regional in terms of a lot of the, you know, the well-known examples, and I'm going to touch on some of those in a moment. But I also don't completely disbelieve this either, so I'm pretty much on the fence with this, to be honest. So when I'm reading bits and pieces from articles and things like that, if they maybe you know, on one side or the other, please note that it's not my personal opinion. Like I say, I'm very much on the fence with this and very, very open to hearing about this and hearing examples and experiences with this. I find it absolutely fascinating. I love it. Absolutely love it. So I have an article here which has a whole bunch of examples, and I'm going to touch on just some of them. And the first one that we have here is Henry VIII eating a turkey leg. People have a memory that the portrait of Henry VIII featured him. Let's try that again. People have a memory that a portrait of Henry VIII featured him eating or holding a turkey leg, though no such painting has ever existed. There have, however, been similar cartoons created. This may be related to the common knowledge of Henry VIII as a large man. Now, this one kind of does ring a bell with me. Henry VIII holding a turkey leg. But I believe that this may be something to do with The Simpsons. And I would bet money that a lot of this might actually be related to The Simpsons. I think The Simpsons might be responsible for a lot of the very, very common examples. Again, just to reiterate, I'm very much on the fence with this and I'm very, very open to it. But I do think The Simpsons might be responsible for some of these. And the next example here, and this is a really big one, this is a really, really common one. Luke, I am your father. If you saw Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, you probably remember Darth Vader uttering the famous line, Luke, I am your father. Spoiler, in the pivotal scene near the end of the film. You might be surprised to learn then that the line was actually no, I am your father. Most people have memories of the line being the former rather than the latter, and it is commonly quoted incorrectly. And again, I believe that this might be something to do with The Simpsons and or Family Guy, a lot of these kind of shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy, they have like Star Wars specials where it's all kind of reenacted with with the characters from the show. And if they are using the line, "Luke, I am your father," is that really a misquote? I wouldn't say that was a misquote. And this is why I'm a little bit on the fence, because while I'm very, very open to this and hearing about these experiences, as I say, I'm absolutely fascinated by the Mandela Effect, I do think sometimes it's like a recreation that's maybe caused a lot of these to have been changed in people's minds, because we remember a story the last way that we told it, but it's always a little bit different when we tell it. So if the last time that we saw a story was a reenactment by The Simpsons or Family Guy or, any of those lovely shows, then that's going to be the version that's in our head. And that's not me trying to discredit anybody that remembers any of these events in a different way. Absolutely not. The next one that we have here is another big one. This is another really common one. And it's Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. If you watched Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you probably remember the line, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" As you can see from the above subtitle screenshot, so this particular article has a screenshot from Snow White, and this is the Disney animated Snow White, I believe from the 1930s. And there's a subtitle that says, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" Which, that's quite different, isn't it? As you can see from the above subtitled screenshot, the line actually began with the phrase, "Magic mirror on the wall" instead. It probably doesn't help matters that Julia Roberts and Lily Collins starred in a 2012 live-action film based on Snow White called Mirror, Mirror. Now, this is one of the ones that I looked at a lot over the years with people's experiences. And I haven't read the Snow White book, but there was a lot of people saying that the text in the book was "Mirror, mirror on the wall." And the next example that we have here is one of the ones that I find the most fascinating. And it's a movie called Shazam, starring Sinbad. And the article says, "One of the most well-known examples of the Mandela Effect is the collective memory of a movie called Shazam that starred the actor/comedians... That starred the actor/comedian Sinbad in the 1990s. In fact, no such movie exists, although there was a children's movie called Kazam, starring Shaquille O'Neal, and some other coincidences that could help to explain how this movie became created, in brackets, or remembered in people's minds." But people have such vivid memories of this movie existing. There's people who can recite whole scenes, the plot, and a lot, and it's different people, talking about these in different places, and things do match up. So I find this one incredibly fascinating. And the last example we're going to touch on at the moment is, many people report remembering Pikachu, a Pokemon character, as having a black-tipped tail. In reality, the character has always had a solid yellow tail. The confusion, or false memory, may stem from the fact that Pikachu, as you can see, does have black-tipped ears. But again, I think this might be one of those things where when Pikachu appears, or, like a kind of Pikachu ripoff appears in a different animated show, or, some other type of programming, and he's had a black tip tail there. I think that might be one of those things where it's the last way that you remember the character, so it's not necessarily wrong, it's just a different version of the character, a different version of the story, a different version of events. I find this absolutely fascinating, and there is some talk and some belief that some of these things have come from different timelines where things can be so similar, but there would be very, very minor difference. And if somebody's kind of shifted timeline in some way, or the event or the program or the imagery has kind of seeped through the timelines in some way, then some people are going to remember the event one way, and some people are going to remember it the other. And that's something that we can explore further. So I would love to hear if you've got any more examples of the Mandela Effect, if you have experience with the Mandela Effect. We've just kind of touched on it very, very lightly here, scratched the surface. I'd really, really love to hear from you about this. I'd love to hear what you think about it. I'd love to hear, like I say, your examples. But for now, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to have a very spooky little story.
It's a great big universe. We can't be who came here first. Step outside of your mind. It's so very deep down there. We walk around without a care. Step outside of your time. Is it all an illusion? Dressed up in confusion. Step outside. Step outside.
Welcome back to Weave Your Web, episode 1 of season 2. I promised you a spooky story, and this is called The Haunted Doll. When you think of haunted dolls, it's likely the creepy old Victoria-looking porcelain kind that springs to mind, none of which you probably have laying around. I wouldn't necessarily say that that's true. I think a lot of people have Victorian porcelain style dolls. Anyway, still, don't get too comfortable around any kids' toys too soon though. A Disney's Frozen Elsa doll that was gifted for Christmas 2013 in the Houston area made headlines when it seemingly became haunted. Oh, the family decided to throw the creepy doll out in December of 2019. Weeks later, they found it inside a bench in their living room. The kids insisted they didn't put it there, and I believed them because they wouldn't have dug through the garbage outside. Madonia told KPRC2 Houston News. Oh, that gives me the shivers. That gives me the shivers. So what do you think about this haunted Elsa doll? Do you think it really was haunted? Do you think it was the children playing a practical joke on their parents? Do you have a haunted doll? Haunted dolls. I love watching stuff about haunted dolls and reading stuff about haunted dolls. But I don't think I would appreciate one in my house. I thought that reading that little spooky story was going to be, was going to be good, but it's just given me the creeps. So I hope that you don't have the creeps. But anyway, if you've got any little stories like that, let me know. So we're going to do a general oracle card. So if this little oracle card resonates with you, great. Please take the information, take it on board, run with it. If it doesn't, that's 100% okay too. It's just a general message just for anybody who might be listening, who might like a little bit of guidance. And that's that. That's all it is. I'm shuffling the cards here. And we have one step at a time. So these are little unicorn oracle cards. That's the deck that I was drawn to pull out to be part of the show. One step at a time. And there's a real, I mean, it's kind of a self-explanatory message, isn't it? But there's a real feeling with this about don't rush. Don't rush. Take your time. Literally one step at a time. Take things day by day. Minute by minute if you need to. Minute by minute. There's kind of two distinct energies coming through with this particular card. The first energy is people trying to get projects rolling. It might be a new business. It might be looking for a new job and being shown decorating, renovations. Take it very, very slowly. These things will happen. These things that you want to happen will happen. But it's not going to happen overnight. You know, renovations take time. Starting a new business takes time. Finding a new job, like all these things take time. They all take time. And the other very distinct energy that's coming through with this is people who might be experiencing a time of sadness. That could be a breakup. Maybe your best friends moved away. A time of sadness. You know, an event that's kind of changed you in some way, changed your mood, unfortunately, to a time of sadness. And I'm very, very sorry to feel, that people are going through, you know, a time of sadness. And, you know, these times of sadness, it really is, again, it's such a simple statement, isn't it? It's such a simple self-explanatory message. But these times of sadness do take one step at a time. They do take one day at a time. And in time, the sadness won't sting as much. It won't sting as much. You will be able to live and move forward. And they're saying in my ear, breathe. You'll be able to breathe again. And I really like that card because it's very much, you know, a feeling of there's, you know, a light at the end of the tunnel. There's, you know, a finished project waiting for you once you've been able to put the time and put the effort in. You know, there's the happiness waiting for you there. And there's two other cards that have kind of popped out here. And it's interesting because they're kind of answer cards. So if you've been thinking about a question, if you've been thinking about a situation as you've been listening to the show, if you've been thinking about an outcome, the two cards that we have here that have kind of slipped off the top are definitely yes, and true. Maybe you're wondering if somebody has a crush on you. Maybe you're wondering if you're going to get that job. Maybe you're wondering if it's worth renovating the house. Definitely yes. True. There's not really very distinct energies with these cards. There's not very distinct examples coming through. It's more, you know, if you have been thinking about a particular situation and thinking about a particular person. But they do feel positive. It doesn't feel like there's, you know, it doesn't feel like there's a negative energy attached with these cards. So again, if any of that resonated with you, please take it, run with it. If it didn't, that's okay. If you would like to ask a personal question on the show, I know I went on about this at the top of the show, but if you want to ask a personal question just for you on the show, please go to the contact form on www.torjamesfaulkner.com. Put that it's okay to put it on the show. Don't make it something too urgent, because sometimes the episodes take a while to get put together, to come out, things like that. So don't make it something too urgent. If you've got something that's more pressing, you can have a private reading with me, completely private, not on the show. Get in touch to inquire about one of those two. And that's it. That's all we have time for episode. I keep going to say episode 2, but it's episode 1 of season 2. These episodes are, by the way, recorded as live, so it's not like fully broadcast live, but they're recorded as live. So there's no like big editing. I would just like to point out as well that this isn't a podcast that has like a big team behind them. I think that a lot of podcasts these days, you know, they have editors and producers and you know, people fiddling with the microphones and things like that. This is all just me. So if there's mistakes, or if there is things that are a little bit higgledy-piggledy, please just keep that in mind. That it's literally just me. It's just me. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for listening to me rambling on. I'll see you for episode 2 of season 2. And I look forward to hearing from you. And have a blessed time. Have a blessed day. Go power.
There's a notion that I can't ignore. There is more beyond the garden door. Is this life? Or timelines merging? Timelines merging. On a distant moon beyond the Capra, there's a soulmate who just hasn't met ya. Is this life? Just reaffirming. Who's to say what we cannot see? Am I you? Are you really me? Are we believing? Or just perceiving? It's a great big universe. We can't be who came here first. Step outside.